Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are learning about inheritance in Python. Inheritance allows us to write code once in a base class and then reuse and extend it in other subclasses. Let's understand this with the help of a real-world example. Here at the top we have the employee class and it holds the basic details that apply to everyone like name and age. So even if it's a manager or a developer or an intern, name and age is something that will be common to all. And all three can inherit from the base class employee, which means they get the same basic features. And apart from that, we can also give them extra abilities of their own. So basically the whole idea is that instead of writing the same code again and again, we define it once in the employee class and then let the other classes build on top of it. So these classes can use the basic features by inheriting from the base class, which is employee class, but then if they have any additional features, we can build on top of these classes. Now let's go ahead and see how we can do it in Python code. We'll define the base class here and we'll name it as employee. Then we'll write our init method, the constructor. We'll give self and we are also going to give the common attributes. Let's do the assignment. So self.name is equals to name and self.age is equals to age. And let's include one more method here. I'll name it as showInfo. We'll pass self here and let's print the info. We'll get the name, self.name and the age. Now let's write the manager subclass. So we'll create a class by the name manager. And as we know that the class manager is going to inherit something from the base class employee. So in order to inherit from any other class, you just need to pass the class name. So if I pass the employee class here, the subclass manager will be able to inherit the properties that are defined under base class employee. For now, we'll not write anything here. So I'll just type in pass. Now let's write the other class, which was developer, and we'll again inherit from the employee base class. Here also we'll not write anything for now. Let's define the other subclass as well, which was intern, and here also we are going to inherit from the base class employee. Here as well we'll not write anything. Now let's create an object for manager. So m is equals to, we'll give the class name, and as manager is inheriting from the base class employee, we can pass the values here. So I'll pass in name and age. So let's say Alice and 25. And as manager is inheriting from the base class employee, we can also use the methods defined inside the base class. So I'll access showInfo here. Here I'll write inherited. I'll save and run this now. So here you can see that in the manager subclass, we were able to inherit all the attributes and methods from the employee base class. And similarly, if you do the same for developer and intern, it will work. So let's create another object for developer and intern. I'll create one for developer. Let's pass a name and age. And we'll call the showInfo method from the base class. And this is also inherited. And we'll do the same for intern. Let's give a name as Charlie. And then let's call the showInfo method. Now let's go ahead and run this. So here you can see that we have been successfully able to inherit the properties of the base class employee for all the three subclasses. So this is exactly how you can inherit from the base class. And now we can go ahead and define additional behavior to these specific roles. So we know that manager, developer and intern would be doing separate things, right? So let's go ahead and define additional methods. So here I'll define one for manage team, pass self here. And let's print something here. We'll say self.name is managing the team. We'll define one for developer as well. Let's call it as write code and let's print something here is writing Python code. Let's define one for the intern as well. Attend training. We'll print a message here. Now these three methods are specific to the respective subclasses, so we can go ahead and call them as well. So for manager, we have manage team. So let's go ahead and call this. So here, apart from inheriting from the base class, we'll also call its own specific method. So m.manage team. Similarly, we can call the one for developer. So here, apart from the inherited method, we'll also call this one. And we'll do the same for the intern as well. Now when we run the code, we'll get both the info, the one which it has inherited from the base class and also the one which has been built on top of this subclass. So let's go ahead and run this. So you can see name Alice, age 25. This is the manager info and here it is. And Alice is managing the team. For developer, we have the name and the age and also its own method which says that the developer is writing Python code. And then we have the same for the intern as well. So all these three subclasses, they are inheriting name, age and showInfo method from the base class, and then they have their own unique methods as well. And this helps us to avoid repetition of code. So let's say if we were not inheriting from the base class, we would have to write the same line for all three specific subclasses. So if we didn't have this method here, we could have written this method inside each and every subclass like this, and like this, which is nothing but the repetition of the code, right? So that is why we write the common logic once in the base class and then extend it for more specific roles. So let's recap real quick. We created a base class employee. We inherited it in manager, developer and intern subclasses, and then we used inherited methods and added custom ones in each subclass. And that's it for this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one.